Hey everybody, this is Lady Metal D. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different than normal. In my spare time, I do crochet, and I like to make 8-bit blankets. And I am going to attempt to do a tutorial on how to do this. I believe that if you follow my instructions, that anybody can make these. They're very, very simple, just really time consuming, so you have to be pretty dedicated. So here I go. I'm going to try to teach you step by step.
Okay, shopping list. You're going to need yarn, obviously. You're going to need a crochet hook, and you're going to need a tapestry needle. The size of the crochet hook affects the size of the granny square. This is a granny square, and this is a K size hook. This is an I. This is what I use. This is what I use a lot. If you want something more like tight, what is this? I think this is a G. Yeah, this is a G. So like I said, I use the I. It is my go-to. This is what I use all the time. See the wooden handle? That is the most comfortable. The tapestry needle is to sew in tails. We will get to that later. So there's your shopping list. Okay, so before we can make these squares that'll ultimately be part of the blanket, first, especially if you've never touched yarn before, I need to teach you how to do a chain, which is really easy, and a double crochet stitch. That's all you're going to need to know for this. So if you already know how to chain, then just fast forward through this. Okay, it's really simple. Take the yarn, make a slip stitch. You're going to put your crochet needle in the hole, and then it's real simple. You just grab the yarn, pull through the loop, grab the yarn, pull through the loop, grab the yarn, pull through the loop, and so on. See, very simple. Okay, so that's how you do a chain. Okay, now that you know how to chain, we're going to learn how to double crochet. This is a double crochet stitch. I want to make a quick note that I'm going to be doing double crochets in a stitch, like right here, but with the granny squares, all you have to do is you do them in the chains. So, like, you'll be doing them through the chains instead of in the stitch. So, but this is a way for me to teach you how to do this stitch. Okay, you're going to yarn over, you're going to go through, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the second 2 loops. So here it is again. Okay, yarn over, pull up a loop, go through the first 2, go through the second 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, go through the first 2 loops, go through the second 2 loops. So that is pretty much how you do it. So yeah, that is the double crochet stitch, which this and chaining is all you need to know. Okay, before we start, I want to point out something, that in these squares, that these sections right here are always 3 double crochets, and in the corner these are always 2 chains. Chain 2, then this is 3 double crochets. Chain 2, 3 double crochets. In the corners it's always going to be like that, with the chains and the 3 double crochets, the chain and the 3 double crochets. See, the chain, 2 and 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, and even as you get bigger, that is what makes your corners. So I wanted to point that out. Okay, so let's start. On the granny square, you're going to do a slip knot, and you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to do 4 because you remember I said that these 3 chains will count as your first double crochet, and this is what you're going to be working through. This is the little hole. So what we're going to do is, we already have 1, and like I said, we need 3. So we're going to do 2 more. Okay, and then remember I said chain 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to do 3 more. So 3 double crochets. And then chain 2 and 3 double crochets. Okay, we have 3, so we just need 1 more. So chain 2 and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. If you forget how to do the double crochets, just go back to that part of the video. Okay, so here we are. We're coming to the end, and we're going to have to connect them. So we're going to chain 2 like you're supposed to, and to connect them to here, you are going to take this top stitch on the chain 3, which considered the first double crochet, and you're going to do a slip stitch. So we're going to go through the stitch here, we're going to grab the yarn and just pull it through and pull it through. So now you have a small granny square. This is actually what I'm using for my next project. So you see, this is what we have now. Okay, so now we're going to go another row around to make it this size, and this is the size I used for Peach, the Link, and the Boo. This is the size I used. Okay, so we're going to chain 3, and this will act as, you know, the last double crochet on the last group of 3. So we chain 3, but we actually are going to add 1 more chain, because that is bringing something new in here, because when you go from one hole to another hole, you're going to chain 1. So let's do the 3 double crochets and the chain 2. And I apologize about my dogs. Okay, so we did the 3 double crochets. We're going to chain 2 and do 3. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. To get from hole to hole, you were going to chain 1. Like in between here to here, there's this 1 chain. So that is why I chained 4 in the beginning. Okay, so we're going to make 1 chain. And then we're going to do the 3 double crochets, 2 chain, 3 double crochets. Which these have crochet terms and stuff, but I'm not going to use them because who gives a shit. Okay. So we do the 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Oops. That happens sometimes. Okay, so we still need to get to this gap, so remember we're going to do chain 1, then we're going to do the 3 double crochets, and the chain 2 and 3 double crochets. Ah, see, it happened again. Chain 1, 3 double crochets. Okay, then chain 2. Okay, this is where we got to the beginning. That's why I chained the 3 and then the 4 for the, you know, this would be the chain 1 in the middle. So to make this 3, we're going to put 2 double crochets in there. Okay, now I always kind of find this a little bit difficult, is we are going to connect it to the top of the chain 3 with the slip stitch. So I went through there. You're going to pull the yarn through and just pull the yarn through. And that makes this size. So now we have one of these. Okay, now we're going to make one of these. And this is what I used for that big badass mage. That is so big, I really don't know what to do with it. And I use this for Mario too. Now I'm going to make a note to where you see these. We just had to do the corners, but it left this gap right here. And this gap, we're going to do the 3 double crochets, and we're going to chain. Because like I said, you always chain 1 before you get to a gap. So since we started in one of these middle things, we're going to just chain 3, because that counts as the first double crochet, because all we need to do is 3 double crochets in this one. So I do 2 more. Okay, and to get from here to here, we're going to chain 1. And then in the corners, what do? You 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. And that is my fucking dogs. They are making so much noise, I'm sorry. Okay, so here we go. We're down at that corner, and then here's another gap. So we're going to do the chain 1, because we did chain 1 to get from gap to gap, hole to hole. And then we're going to do the 3 double crochets right in here. I actually believe in crochet terms it's called like a shell or a treble. Yeah, I don't know. Chain 1. And I guess you about get the gist right now, so. Once you get the hang of it, it gets really simple. Like, I do these while watching anime most of the time, and at first I can only watch them dubbed, but now I can actually watch subtitles because I hardly have to look down. Okay, so now we've come to the end, and what do we do in between from gap to gap? We chain 1, and now we're going to have to connect it. So I'm actually going to connect it to this stitch right here, which is 1, 2, 3 is the 4th stitch, because I just think it's easier. It doesn't really make much difference in appearance. Okay, so slip stitch. And then we're going to cut. And then secure it. You just pull it tight. And then there we go. You got the granny square. If you want to go bigger, you do the same thing. You do the corners the same way. You do the 3 in the middles, the 3 in the middles, stuff like that. Sewing in tails is like pretty easy. You just, sew them in. They're well hidden because of the colors being the same duh. And they're pretty secure. You want to pull it tight. Cut, and there you go. It's well hidden. Go ahead and buy like 5 of these like tapestry needles, because you're going to lose them. I have to go buy them all the time. Pull tight. Okay, I sewed in the tails, and now I gotta sew them together, and I really hate this part. Why am I doing this part of the tutorial? I have no idea. Like, I would like to say you could just figure it out, and actually I've already done this part, but I was really drunk. It was pretty freaking hilarious, but it got the point across. Okay, you want to face them together like this. This is the easy way. Your stitches aren't going to be as clean this way. I learned that the hard way, but it's just easier. Have one of these ready. So when you start your project, you follow this. Okay, so we're going to tie a little knot here. Or you could do like a slip knot right here. So there we go. Ugh. Okay, I had a little problem getting the yarn in the little hole thingy, so. Okay, so you're just gonna sew it together. Pretty easy, kind of. I mean, I hate sewing. I don't know how to sew. Okay, so there we go. You sew in your tail. If you noticed, I sewed my tail along with it, so I didn't have to sew that back in. Anyways, so that is the easy way. Now, if you want cleaner stitches, it doesn't really matter. You're going to want to put them upside down on a flat surface and sew them like this. You get a lot easier. Well, it's not easier, it hurts your back, but you get a lot cleaner stitches, and I'll show you why in a second. Okay, so we're going to do two colors together, and this would be ideal. Like to put it on a flat surface and to sew it. I'm going to do it the easy way because I got it sewed on, and this is what you want to do. Just try to get them in the top of the stitch so it'll be nice and clean. And with the color that you're sewing in with, you could go ahead and put it through the whole stitch. See, I'm only putting it through here. Now, I figured out my own way to do this. This is like my favorite way. You can figure out your own way. This is just how I did it. Okay, there is a giant contrast between the yellow and the black here on the back, but turn it around, it's pretty clean. I guess there's a few spots. Like I said, it's easier to do it this way, but it kills your back. It's easier to sit down for me. But I mean, if you want clean stitches, this would be the easy way to go. Now, be sure to have one of these. And there's an Amber Alert on my phone. Wonderful. I'm not doing this again, so be sure to have one of these and to follow it. If you want to lay the things on the ground to make really clean stitches, then invert it. You do not want to mess this up, so make sure you are in the right mind frame. My last project, my back hurt, it was driving me insane, and I screwed up. And once you get one of these rows done, it takes a lot of work to get them undone. These are very, very secure. So it is so hard. If I wanted to get this off of here, I'd have to cut and pull and be careful. Now, like I was saying, the clean work is a lot better than this. See, I had some hiccups. This is what I was talking about with this one. You can see that it's pretty much not my best work. So the stitches on the back, there's a few spots that are pretty clean, but I don't know. Now, the one that I actually got on the floor, put my squares upside down, and then sewed them from that. Very clean. And from a distance, it's beautiful. This is my mage. It's the only thing I've ever crocheted for myself. So I put a border around them. I do this by a single crochet stitch, so I'm not going to go through that. So anyways, that is how you make a 8-bit blanket. This one's kind of funky because I use it and I have dogs. Okay, thank you for watching, and good luck.